Hello my friends, and welcome back to Ration Nerd. It is absolutely bitchin' that you decided to spend some of your Sunday with this goofball, doing this goofy hobby. We're going back to Brazil. This is a 24-hour Brazilian Navy ration. This is menu number 5. A little while ago on the channel, you can go back and see me do a standard Brazilian Army ration. This is a Brazilian Navy ration, so this ought to be a bit different and a lot of fun. This is absolutely much lighter than the other Brazilian ration that I reviewed, so I'm wondering what the differences are. Maybe there's some freeze-dried, maybe not. I'm not really sure. But this is what you get if you're on a boat or if you work for the Navy in Brazil. So this ought to be pretty damn interesting to get into. We're doing a little South America this week. I have some really cool stuff on the way, as you know, and Emily has actually sent me some really cool shit that I can't wait to get into. But this week we're definitely going to Brazil. This ration expired in June of 2024, so we're getting to it a little late, but that's okay because you know how we roll. And if you want to roll with Ration Nerd and the Ration Nerd Herd, you know what you could do for this guy. You could totally hit that like button and hit that subscribe button and talk to me in the chat. It's always a great time to hear from you guys. I really appreciate it. There's that whole new boost feature or whatever the hell it's called. If you guys don't mind using up some of your booster points after you hit the like button and the subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you know when the videos come out, you could always throw me a boost. That would be pretty epic. Maybe get me somewhere on somebody's list for something so YouTube stops dogging the channel. One never knows what is on YouTube's mind. However, I know what's on my mind. It is almost that magic time of the month where I do the ration giveaway for my Patreon members. This Japanese Self-Defense Force emergency ration is up for offer for anybody that's on my Patreon page. That's a paid member. On the magic time of the month, I will get the ration bucket hat, which is this guy right here, that has all the Patreon member names in it, and I will pull one of their names out of a hat, and guess what? They're going to get this ration absolutely free. And with that shenanigans out of the way, let's crack into this and see what a Brazilian Navy man gets for a 24-hour period. I can say I do like the color of this bag. Nice dark green, not exactly OD, not exactly not OD. It's pretty damn cool. I like the bag. It's a little dusty, but that's all right. It was here through the botched remodeling project, so let's go at this from the back, where I'm pretty sure in Brazil that might be a thing. I'm just talking out of my ass. I don't know if it is or not, but, you know, hey, you never know. I gotta be careful. I know there's gonna be 3 separate modules in here, and I'm not trying to spear them all. That's good enough. I'll just tear that back door open. That's right. So what do we have coming out? Ooh. So this is our breakfast and lunch pack. Pretty cool. Number 5. That's what I was expecting. Here is our accessory kit. That is pretty cool. And this will be our lunch and dinner package. Pretty neat. And that is, as you can see, everything out of the bag. We have our 3 packs here. Let's get into those accessories first. What you going to give me in some accessories? There better be some coffee. What do we have here? We have a Puro alcohol. That's awesome for heating up your mains. This takes the place of those nasty, stinky Esbit tablets. Actually good for use indoors. Maybe not good for use, but much safer for use indoors. Love this stuff. And we got some destructions. Who in the hell needs destructions? Not this guy. Ooh, we have some napkins. Napkins are always good. Lord knows I need them. We have a pack of Piranha matches. And what kind of tips do we have on those? That is a nice green tip we got going on right there. Check that out. And for all you people out there that need to know, these matches work just fine. Look at that nice solid flame. And we have one of those really yummy, that's sarcasm, lime isotonic beverages. This thing is made with sugar. You can absolutely tell it being 55 grams. It's a hefty pack. It's just a damn shame it's lime, because I've had the lime before, not real excited about it. We'll mix it up anyway, just for shits and giggles. And we have an Esbit stove in here, and this one is pretty thin. It's a cute little Esbit stove, or, well, just a stove, because this isn't really designed for Esbit tablets. It's designed for this squishy alcohol stuff. This thing is relatively thin and flimsy. This is really just a one day, and then you throw it away kind of thing. This thing is going to take a beating throughout the day, especially if you have to repack this thing and put it away with your food at any point. But you do get an Esbit stove to heat up your mains regardless of how stout it is or is not. This one just happens to not be all that in a bag of chips, but you get an Esbit stove or ration stove, alcohol stove, whatever the hell you want to call it. And we have 6 water purification tablets. Water purification tablets are probably the smartest damn thing you could put in a ration, because without water, your ass is going to die. And that is it for the accessory kit. So let's get this shit out of the way so we can see what is in breakfast and lunch. Alright, so what do we get for breakfast and lunch out of this guy? That ought to be a lot of fun to find out. I hope this is not... I know it's not the same menu as the standard Brazilian Army ration I did, but it does seem relatively similar. Some of those items were rocking, other ones not so much. Hopefully this one corrects the record. Oh, right out of the gate, we have a big-ass, really big-ass 10-gram package of coffee. Now, I'm not sure if that's all to be consumed at one time. I do remember the Brazilian coffee being absolutely amazing. It is amazing, but I'm surprised they give you all 10 grams in one big-ass pack, because I could really use a huge cup of coffee right now, especially if it's going to be really good. So we have a coffee on my mind for breakfast. Then we have this chocolate strawberry flavored cereal bar. This actually sounds really yummy. Can't wait to crack into that. Hopefully it stood the test of time and isn't stale as hell, but we'll find out. Ooh, then we have a 40-gram pack of coffee with milk and sugar. That is absolutely badass. That's definitely on the breakfast plate. I mean, that's a lot of coffee. I know you can have coffee for breakfast and lunch, but there might be a whole lot of coffee going on this morning. That looks amazing to this guy, especially the sweet and creamy coffee. Absolutely. Tell you what, whether or not I like the food, if nothing else, I'm going to really enjoy the coffee. Then we have a package of farina. Now, in my last review, I had this for breakfast. Sorry to all those people who hollered at me, but hey, look, here in the United States, farina is just like cream of wheat, so I made a mistake. This time, I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this stuff all over my mains and do it like a Brazilian would do it, just for fun. Not really sure how it's going to turn out, but we're going to get into it anyway. 40 grams of farina. Then we have a grape beverage base. Now, this is really crusty, but I've had this before, and this grape beverage base is absolutely amazing. This stuff, it literally tastes like grape juice. It's absolutely amazing. Love that stuff. Don't care if it's crusty and crunchy. We're going to crunch it back up, and we're going to put it right in some water and absolutely enjoy it. That's different. What is this guy? This is a RAPIDURA energy bar. It is gluten-free. It is everything free except for sugar. The only ingredients that I could pull off of here was cane sugar broth. So this is really hard. Seems like some kind of energy bar. Says it comes in at roughly 90 calories. So that thing is really rock hard. We'll have to figure out what in the hell a RAPIDURA energy bar is, but that sounds very interesting, if not tooth-breaking. Then we have some strawberry jam. Everybody likes a little strawberry jam, unless you're allergic to strawberries, in which case you hate strawberry jam. Then we have a 15-gram package of lightly salted toast. I guess that's like some really kind of like croutons, but like a really crispy toast that might go really great with that jam. And we have another pack of that really crispy toast. We have 2 5-gram packs of sugar, bringing the sweetness. And we have our main item, white beans with sausage and rice. That is going to be 2 separate retort pouches down inside of this nifty little sleeve. So we got that white beans and sausage and some rice, and that is everything out of the breakfast and lunch bag. So let me get breakfast and lunch out of the way, and then we'll get into lunch/dinner. Not sure why they label them like that. I guess you just kind of rip everything open, see what the hell you got, and decide what you're going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's the way I would do it anyway. All right, now we've got that lunch/dinner pack. That didn't slice real nice. Oh, we've got some more toast, and that took a real beating. This is just basically going to be crumbs at this point. That's a damn shame. I did catch a weird smell at some point. Not really sure what that is. Hopefully nothing has spoiled in here. Ooh, then we've got some hot cocoa, 40 grams. Nice little evening beverage. Then we have some orange beverage base. This stuff that's not just crunchy, that actually feels wet. We're going to have to go really gently with this stuff. Maybe if we're lucky, this will hydrate again. This is the problem with old rations and commercial packaging, because these certainly look like civilian items that they're just buying to put in the military rations, which is just fine, because these things are absolutely amazing. Apparently they just don't hold up to anything past their expiration date, but hey, that's my fault for not getting to this ration sooner. But we've got some orange drink, which if it's still good is absolutely going to be great. These people must have read my goddamn mind. Look at this. Dinner time, you get a big ass 10-gram package of coffee. The Navy is absolutely doing it right. They're giving you 2 big-ass buckets of coffee for the day and some sweet and creamy coffee. This is absolutely amazing. I don't know what to do with myself. I can't wait to get the rest of this shit out of this bag so I can get some coffee in my face. So I'm a big guy. I have really big hands. Needless to say, I'm 6'3", built like an ox. This is a big-ass pack of coffee. Just feast your eyes on that big-ass pack of coffee, because I can't wait to get it in my face. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Absolutely looking forward to this coffee. It was great last time I had it. I have no reason to believe it's going to be any different this time. Absolutely fucking amazing. That is a big-ass pack of coffee. Doing it right over in Brazil. At least in the Navy, honking big-ass packs of coffee is what I'm all about. I know. It doesn't serve any nutritional purpose, but does it not? Does it not? It makes my lips work in the morning. I'll have to stop repeating myself so damn much. So as far as I'm concerned, coffee is one of the major food groups. They must be very fond of toast in the Navy. This one seems to not have gotten the shit kicked out of it like that guy. And 2 more packs of sugar. Awesome sauce. And we have a bag of gumdrops. Check out that little guy. You can see the gumdrops through his big gaping maw there. That's kind of cute. Definitely almost like a kid's item. And those things have seen better days. We're going to have to go at these rather gently. These are some rock hard gumdrops, but that's all right. Not the gumdrops' fault. Totally mine. Look at that guy. He looks so happy. He looks like me right after I'm about halfway through a bucket of coffee. That's what my face turns into. And then we have some guava jam, not too shabby. Then we have another repeat item. We have another one of those strawberry chocolate cereal bars. Hopefully this damn thing is good. Then we have our mains, and that is everything out of the lunch/dinner bag. And we have meat, risotto with vegetables and sausages. Sounds absolutely amazing. Let's check out these retort pouches to make sure they survive the journey. I really hope they did, because, yep, we have a package of rice or risotto. And then we have some salsicha, I guess. Ooh. You can feel some individual sausages kind of moving around in there. I really, it almost feels like there's no sauce in there. What is going on? Please tell me you're still airtight or I'm going to cry a little bit. All right, that is still airtight, so that is good. That is not what the weird smell in that bag was coming from. So this is everything contained in a Brazilian Navy ration for 24 hours. We're going to make some life-altering decisions while we figure out exactly what's for breakfast. If you have half a brain, you can probably figure out what is definitely going to be on my breakfast plate, and then I'll be right back. All right, well, as you can see, breakfast is going to be kind of a light affair. We got a couple packs of that toast. We have a cereal bar. We got some jam to go with that toast. And we have this Rapadura, whatever the hell that thing is. We have some sweet and creamy coffee. And we have a big-ass 10-gram pack of coffee that's going to go in that big-ass glass, because that looks like it's going to make an epic cup of coffee. This is a pretty damn happy ration nerd staring at all that coffee. The time of the rented lips is at an end, at least for today, until tomorrow morning anyway. Sweet and creamy coffee in the house. Let's get this out of there. This got me semi-erect right now. Let me tell you what. Coffee come latte is, you know what? I'm not even taking any chances. I'm not spilling a single grain of that powdery goodness that's contained in here. This ought to be banging. Let's get a sniff of that before we even put it in the glass. Surprisingly, doesn't smell like much. All of the creamy coffee goodness. And you know I haven't had it. You know I need it. This is 10 grams of epic Brazilian freeze-dried coffee. This is absolutely fucking amazing. I can't wait for this to get in my face. Let's go ahead and crack this open, please. No dry mold on my coffee. I don't see why it's not old enough for all that nonsense, but hells yes, that smells absolutely epic. Let's check that out. That's a nice freeze-dried coffee. You can see those little nuggets of epic freeze-dried coffee yumminess. Take a look at that with your dirty little eyeballs. I know I'm excited about it. You should be too, especially if you're planning on getting your hands on one of these. Well, fuck, that's not even fucking cool. Like, what do you even do about it? This is fucking tragedy. Of all the times to have fucking Butterfingers, it's like, straight retard. God damn it. All right, everybody, and I mean, I'm still excited. Don't get me wrong, but I have to figure out a way to extract every last bit of this coffee that I possibly can off of the table and out of the tray. God damn it. I told you these instructions were worthless unless you spill your coffee on the damn table, in which case they kind of become a little bit of a handy item. I need all the coffee, please. This is absolute sacrilege. Here on Ration Nerd, coffee blasphemy. I got some coffee flavored Jimmy hat going on. That shit's not even... Actually, that might be the secret to fucking life right there. You find you a chick that really likes coffee, you have coffee flavored Jimmy hats. I don't know, do the math, y'all. Maybe I'm onto something. It is way too early in the morning for this making a mess shit. That can't happen again. I'm not really sure what's going on. Now I have about 9.5 ounces of coffee. I did everything possible to try to get every last kernel, every last granule of that epic coffee in the glass where it belongs. Now we need some hot water. Sweet and creamy coffee action. Abso-fucking-lutely this morning. And we need more water. I was going to get that lime drink out with breakfast, but quite honestly, it is absolutely not happening until lunch. This is all about coffee time. This is absolutely what I am talking about. That is an amazing looking breakfast tray, but they didn't give us any utensils, so we're going to have to certainly grab one. Let's get a different spoon for each meal of the day. We're going to start out with good old United States and their really solid ration spoon. Let's give this coffee a little swizz. That is a much more appropriate sized cup of coffee as far as I am concerned. That is off the hook. Coffee in the house. That's absolutely amazing. Before we do anything else, we've got to taste test the coffee. I'm pretty sure we've got 2 packs of sugar to add to that big old coffee bucket over there. That's absolutely amazing. Let's get a big old sniff of this awesome Brazilian freeze-dried coffee as the glass burns my digits. That smells absolutely amazing. Look how nice and dark and rich that coffee turned out. Absolutely smells really nutty. That is a great problem to have. It's nice and dark. It's nice and rich. I'm going to shut up about it and put it in the face because good God almighty do I need it. Oh, that is absolutely amazing. Even without cream or sugar, that is an extraordinarily high quality freeze-dried coffee that I could drink every day of the week and not be unhappy with it. It's not as good as a cup of brewed coffee, or at least a cup of good brewed coffee, but as far as instant coffees go, this is probably the best instant coffee I've ever had in a ration. That's an exceptional cup of coffee, especially for one that comes in a ration. That is an extraordinarily high quality freeze-dried coffee. I can't stress that enough. It made my face happy just taking that little sip, but we are going to at least sweeten it up if we can't cream it up. Both packs of sugar go in there. Diabetes. All that sugar, please. I could probably make a half-an-hour video of just me talking about the coffee. God, that's so good, so rich, nutty, absolutely satisfying that morning coffee itch. I'll be back in a minute. And that will absolutely wake you up in the morning. That is epic. Absolutely brilliant. I would love some sweetened condensed milk. That would literally push that coffee over the top, completely be off the hook. That is an amazing cup of coffee. That 10-gram pack, it's like the only way to do it. You get a real human being sized cup of coffee, at least for this human being. That's not even as much coffee as I would normally drink in the morning, but with these two together, it is all right. Speaking of this guy, this is the sweet and creamy alternative to your 10 grams of freeze-dried excellence. Let's give this guy a try. That looks absolutely amazing. Let's give it a sniff. You know, oddly enough, it still doesn't smell like anything at all. Let's taste it. That is absolutely 100% amazing. That is sweet and creamy, a little bit thick. Whatever they have in there that is making the cream, which is milk powder and some other artificial ingredients. But let me tell you what, that has got a really yummy taste. A little bit light on the coffee taste for my preference. It still has a nice coffee flavor, very sweet, very creamy, nothing else added to it at all. I put all the sugar in the regular coffee. That by itself is like a dessert drink, if I'm being 100% honest. It did come in the breakfast/lunch bag. That cup of coffee right there is like a sweet kiss on the lips from the world saying, hey, it doesn't matter what's going wrong. Everything's going to be okay because you got me, and this is absolutely amazing. But as yummy and sweet and creamy as that is, it's a little oversweet, at least for me. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the regular coffee. Between the cream that is in here, it ought to help cut some of the sweetness and is going to make that absolutely epic. So with our powers combined, and a little help from a spoon. Oh, and that is absolutely the play. Yes. Have to be a little bit more quiet. I'm going to wake everybody up. fuck it, they should know about this coffee. Everybody should know about this coffee. This is absolutely banging. That freeze-dried Brazilian coffee, along with that cafe com leite, is absolutely fucking amazing. That made it worth waking up this morning. That is off the hook. Okay, enough with the coffee. I know, I'm really excited about it. It's excellent coffee. That's not an everyday occurrence when you open up a ration, especially when you're counting on it for your morning caffeination, like I am today. Today's ration day. I try not to eat or drink anything outside of just what's contained in the ration. One, because they're generally horrifically calorie dense for a normal schmo doing normal schmo things. And two, it gives me an idea of what the soldier's going to feel like at the end of the day of just having these items available. So I think that allows me to build a better picture and a better opinion of the ration when I eat everything over the course of a day, so I get to see how full I am or not, how satisfied I am with the food or not. That's why I try to do 24-hour rations all in the same day. All right, now it's time to actually have some breakfast, although, to be fair, I could just do the coffee and be 100% okay. Let's see how this toast survived. I have a feeling it took a pretty bad beating in that bag, but one can only hope that we have some whole toast pieces. Trying to be delicate with it without like flinging it all over the ration table. I'm already batting 1,000 this morning, dumping my coffee all over the tray. That was absolutely epic. All right, the toast was winning there for a second. Let's just dump it all out. Oh, so cute. And some more toasty action. And our chocolate strawberry cereal bar. Ooh, that's got some pink granola action going on. That's kind of sexy. Let me bring that up to you so you can check that bad boy out. It's pink. It's oaty. It's got a chocolate bottom. Not too shabby. We'll get a bite of that guy in just a minute. And then we have to see what the hell a Rapadura bar is. I have a feeling this is just like a random energy bar with all that sugar cane juice that's in here. It's just a quick source of calories. The wrapper wasn't all that great, and I'm not really sure what that's supposed to look like. That's either some kind of really funky mold or some sugar crystals. One never really knows. Okay, but here's that rapid energy bar. And did our strawberry jam survive, or it is just a little jellied puck of chewy goodness? I guess we're about to find out. And that actually looks like it made it. Not too shabby. Well, it's a little thick, but it'll certainly be doable. I guess let's start out with getting some of this strawberry jam out on a little piece of toast over here. Pretty much the biggest piece of toast that we have. We don't have a ton of jam, so we have to be a little reserved about it. And before we proceed, let's get a little nibble of that jam all by itself. Get a flavor profile on that guy. And that jam is really good. Nice natural flavor. Very soft sweetness. Not super sweet like a normal jelly or jam. Definitely taste more of the fruit than you do of the sugar, which is pretty awesome. Usually, when a jam is like that, it means it's a higher quality. They're not using the sugar to mask the fact that the fruit is either inferior or barely there. That absolutely has a lot of natural fruit content in it, which is pretty awesome. Let's try some of that jam on one of these little toast hunks. Let's bring that up to you. Check out that toast action. This is really hard, just like a crouton. Let's see what it tastes like. Careful with those teeth. The packaging on this toast isn't all that great. Maybe if the packaging was thicker, or it wasn't a civilian item, it would not get so damn stale. This is like having a really extremely stale crouton, unseasoned with just some jam on top of it. It's certainly not horrible. It's not great either. A very light, maybe convenient, easy to eat way to start the day. As long as these things aren't hard as bricks, you have to be a little careful with them. Because when you take that initial bite, if you have something wrong with your teeth, you might lose one or break one, which is never a great idea. And the best part of breakfast, in between every bite, I can wash it down with some of this epic coffee. All right, let's get a bite of this strawberry chocolate granola bar. Let's snap that little bugger in half. This actually seems like it survived the test of time. Little strawberry bits in there. Obviously the chocolate coating on the bottom. Just a little bit small, if I'm being honest. That's a teeny tiny little thing. And that thing is absolutely ridiculously good. Nice and sweet. Chocolate is very mild, almost like a milk chocolate. Oats are nice and chewy. The grains, relatively soft. This has a nice chew, really sweet, great strawberry flavor. I just wish this thing was bigger. This is very, very yummy. I should have eaten the rest of the toast and jam before I moved on to this, because quite honestly, going from this back to the toast is going to be really difficult. Maybe I should save up. Nope. All right, well, even after trying to translate the wrapper for this crazy little energy bar, after I've unfolded it, it's still not really revealing any great information. I'm going to go ahead and hold this up to the camera. That way, if anyone has a better translator than me, which is probably all of you, or knows someone who speaks Spanish or someone in the Brazilian military that can possibly figure out what exactly this is supposed to be, or what flavor it's supposed to be, other than just sugar, please hit me up in the comments. This is very interesting, and I've not seen it before, so I'm really curious. And as they say, curiosity killed the ration nerd, so let's give you guys a little cross-section on this very, very odd bar. Check that guy out. That is very interesting, strange as far as I'm concerned. The coating on the outside kind of worries me. I'm going to go ahead and throw my nose up against that and see what that smells like. Another absolutely nothing, I guess, which is good, because maybe if it was rancid, it would throw off a smell. I'm not really sure how cane sugar juice goes rancid unless it started to ferment, but let's just get a bite of it. I'm going to have to be careful because this thing is hard as hell. Wow. That is straight up sugar. It's almost like a little bit of a dark sugar flavor, almost like a dark brown sugar, but without that gritty texture. As soon as it hits your mouth, it just immediately starts to evaporate. It is very hard, but it's actually easy to bite, kind of like a really dry piece of fudge. It just tastes absolutely sweet. A little bit of a dark flavor, almost a little bit of some kind of strange vegetable flavor that I can't put my finger on. Not bad in any way. Absolutely crazy sweet. If you have problems with your blood sugar, I'd stay away from that because that might send you running for your insulin. But this is extraordinarily sweet, kind of neat. A great energy boost, I guess, if you needed some absolutely immediately bioavailable sugar just thrust into your bloodstream. That is extraordinarily sweet. I don't really know what to make of it. It's kind of okay. I'm going to eat it because it's mine. I'm not sure it's great for me, though. Almost has a little bit of a molasses aftertaste. If you like molasses at all, or dark brown sugar, you'd love this thing. I'm not quite sure what else to do with it. I'm trying to cut the sweetness a little bit by maybe adding it to some of these toast bits, since I don't have a ton of jam to go with them. And working on getting some stitches, stabbing myself in the finger. That would be a great way to start the morning. So let's grab a couple pieces of these toast. Slam some sugar bar in the middle, and just get a big old bite of that sugary nonsense. Even with the bread in there, that was crazy sweet. That's the play, though. Just smash this thing up into some small pieces, kind of like having a bit of molasses with toast. It's very interesting. You have to eat a hell of a lot of toast with this stuff, though, because it's extraordinarily sweet. All right, my friends, that was Brazilian Navy breakfast. I'm going to sit here, wreck the remainder of this absolutely epic coffee, nom nom on some toast with what little bit of jam I have left, and in about 3 hours, I'll be back so we can continue this nonsense together. All right, everybody, welcome back to lunch. It's been an interesting morning. I was well caffeinated. That's epic. Now it's time to be well hydrated. We're going to have some of this lime drink, which I affectionately call it laughing my ass off because it tastes pretty horrible. And we have that orange, which is super crusty. We're going to give it hell anyway. That's a yummy ass drink. We've got the white beans and sausage and the rice, as well as some farina to go on top. And as you know, what did we do with these retort pouches?
Get your boy on, get your boy on, get your boy cooked. Get your boy on, get your boy on.
And you know that's what we did with them because you just saw it. First, let's check out this orange drink, see if we can bring some life back to this stuff. I really hope so because it's absolutely yummy. That's doing about nothing. It's just hanging out all up in the top of the package. I'm trying to knock it down in there. It's just like one big brick of like orange drink goodness. All right, there's nothing else for it. We'll just bring it over the tray. Maybe we won't have a repeat of the breakfast coffee drop. That was horrible, horrific. That's like a real horror movie as far as I'm concerned. And our orange drink it's kind of wet in there. I don't know. I mean, take a look at that. That used to be a nice powdered orange drink. Now it's more like a sugary orange fruit chew. That actually might not be a bad idea. I mean, just let me get a hunk of that. And it doesn't taste like a single thing is wrong with that. This obviously took some heat stress on its way here, and it sat around for a while because I got both of those Brazilian rations roughly about the same time. And as you can see, that is not powdered in any way, shape, or form. Then we got the Laugh My Ass Off lime. Unfortunately, this is the one that had to like survive in perfect condition. It couldn't have been the other way around, where the Laugh My Ass Off lime was like a big, nasty, wet sugar ball. Nope, the lime was just fine. Why is your table always so dirty? Well, it's because I'm always doing shit on it, that's why. And what nation is going to lend us a spoon for this review? Australia. I'm feeling Australia, even though it's going to get my fingers wet when I'm trying to stir. Who cares? I like the Australian spoon. It's pretty banging. Let's get these drinks all stirred up. All right, let's get those sausage and beans out of the way. Get this rice out here. These are nice and hot. Damn it. Fresh off the... Tear notches are on the other side, jackass. Fresh off the boil. These are nice and steamy. Let's check out that rice. Ooh. At least it didn't come out of there as like one big rice brick. That's actually like individual grains of rice. That's pretty damn sexy. And those sausages and beans. Let's find the tear notch before we scorch our fingers. There we go. All right. Out with you, Mr. Sausage and Beans. That is pretty gray looking. Oh yeah, that's nice and gray. Not exactly the sexy, not exactly the not exactly the sexiest thing I've ever seen come out of a retort pouch. Ooh, well, and that's lunch. That is, it looks like something. I'm not sure what, but it definitely looks like something. All right, before we add this farina to it, which was the mistake I made last time that I was excoriated for online, let's go ahead and get this. This is like pepperonis. This seems very similar to one of the other dishes I had in my last Brazilian ration. That's okay though. Can't get something new every single day. I know the dinner main I have not had in a Brazilian ration, so that hopefully will be a much better time. So essentially we have these white beans, we have some nice rice, and we have what looks like pepperonis, although I'm sure that's not a pepperoni. It's some kind of sausage in a very small, very thin slice. Get back in there. One thing I can say I don't really appreciate about this ration, there's no salt and pepper in here. Some pepper would probably jazz this up quite a bit, but it's just not to be. Apparently in Brazil, they don't appreciate the use of salt and pepper or something like that. So we have a little bit of everybody. We have the rice, we have that real thin sausage, and we have some beans in there. Let's throw this back in the big old face hole and see what lunch is all about. And all things considered, that's really not that bad. The only thing bringing any really good flavor to it is this sausage. And the one thing I really like about the sausage, even though it's in this retort pouch, it maintained its texture, which is really nice. Having something, especially the really soft beans, aren't much in the way of texture. The rice is also pretty soft. It did stay in individual grains, which is awesome, but it doesn't have a very chewy texture. So the only thing with any real texture is the sausage, and it brings all the flavor to this dish. Otherwise, all you taste is the bean and the bean broth, which isn't bad in and of itself. It's just very plain. So the rice and beans by themselves without the sausage would be like the worst side item ever. It really does need some seasoning. I'm kind of shocked that they don't add any seasoning packets to this. Maybe traditionally in Brazil, it would be very plain and very basic like this, but hey, your soldiers don't have to be plain and basic. Give them some damn salt, pepper, hot sauce, something. That certainly does have a great flavor though, although basic. The sausage really tunes it up. Now we are going to do what I am apparently supposed to do, is put the farina on the main. So let's give it a shot. I'm only going to do it on half of the main because I don't know if I'm going to like it, if I'm being honest. We're going to sprinkle a bunch of farina over half of this guy, and we'll see what happens. I'm not really sure how much farina you're supposed to just coat it with. We're going to go with about that much, and we're going to get a bite of just the rice and the beans with the farina. See exactly what that does for this main. Farina by itself is a relatively plain grain item, so I don't see why it would make a big difference, but you never know. Let's get a bite. And this is definitely one of those cultural differences I'm just not understanding. So the farina is dry and plain, where this dish was nice and wet and kind of moist. The farina, I mean, it kind of soaks up some of that moisture, and I'm used to it more as a breakfast item. I'm not picking on anybody's culture when I say this, but it's just not for me. It takes a relatively plain, kind of boring main dish and makes it even more boring by masking like the smoky flavor of the sausage with farina, which is really odd to me. Again, one of those cultural differences. Maybe I'm still not doing it right. I was told just to sprinkle the farina on top. I tell you what, it's just not for me. I would have much rather had that as a small amount of breakfast porridge than bother with pouring it on this main. It's slightly odd to me. Yeah, quite honestly, this main is so bland that the farina flavor takes over the main dish. I see no point in putting the farina on there. If you're Brazilian or you know what you're doing, and I don't, and I'm still screwing the pooch, let me know in the comments. It is highly likely that I will have another Brazilian ration in the future, and maybe I'll get a chance to correct my mistakes a third time. So let me know. Am I applying this farina correctly, or am I just screwing the pooch yet again? I don't know. Either way, not my favorite item to add to a main dish. Now I've got farina mud like forming in my mouth. Let me get some of that washed out. Let's start with the laughing my ass off lime. We'll get a sip of this guy, and then we'll talk about this wonderful stuff. Maybe somebody out there would like this stuff, but for me, that tastes just like a lemon floor cleaner smells. I know it's supposed to be lime, but it absolutely tastes like a lemon floor cleaner, like a cheap lemon floor cleaner smells. That's just not for me. If you were extraordinarily thirsty and really needed that salt content, maybe it would taste better. I tend to stay really well hydrated, so sports drinks aren't all that in a bag of chips to me. So for me, sports drinks have a tendency to be a bit salty because I'm usually well hydrated. I could absolutely power through that if I needed to. It's just not really enjoyable. It tastes like lemon floor cleaner smells. That's a damn shame. Definitely big props to Brazil for keeping their guys well hydrated and giving them a ton of drink options in this ration, which is absolutely epic. They are missing some of the basics in this ration though, silverware, a little bit more napkins, etc. But let's move on to the orange and let's get that nasty lime taste out of our mouth and see if this orange survived. I sure hope it did. Oh, it absolutely did. That is an amazing orange drink. It tastes a lot like natural orange, nice and sweet, really enjoyable, extremely pleasant. That's a great drink mix. Made with natural sugar, definitely some citrus oil in there, big vitamin C boost, lots of hydration, absolutely awesome. Now back to the farina, it's just not for me. It's not doing anything for me on top of this main, except for making the main taste like very bland, wheat cereal. It's just dried wheat ground up into a cereal. It's not all that in a bag of chips. It takes away from the flavor of the main, and this main really needs all the flavor it can get. I understand the cultural benefit of the farina in the sense that you are literally just taking very easily stored and easily transportable calories and drizzling those calories all over your meal, as well as some fiber. It's just not for me. I don't really like the way that it changes the flavor of the main. The farina just kind of takes over. Sorry to anybody that thought that me adding the farina to this was going to change my mind. I gave it its day in court. It so did not change my mind. It just tastes like plain wheat on top of a main dish that is already kind of struggling for flavor and could desperately use some salt and pepper. So the farina is out for me for the rest of the review because, quite honestly, this has barely enough flavor with the sausage in it to be enjoyable, and I'm not going to kill any of that flavor. Poor Mrs. Ration Nerd. Every one of these beans is like a nail in the coffin. Beans making asses noisy? Well, ever since we started eating them. They really should have put more sausage in here. It has a great smoky flavor. The texture just can't be beat, especially at surviving being cooked in a high temperature retort pouch. The sausage is actually really good. I would love to know what this tasted like outside of a retort pouch in its natural Brazilian environment, but that's not going to happen for this guy, so we're just going to have to settle for these little sausage slices. Making a mess, making a mess. Considering how light breakfast was, this is actually a really filling main, even without the farina. The beans and the rice are really filling my belly, making me feel pretty damn full. That last bite of that white beans and sausage over rice. It was lunch. It was relatively bland, but the sausage at least perked it up quite a bit. And this is I'm full, but that needed seasoning spoon drop. Definitely going to clean that palate with some of this yummy ass orange drink. All right, my friends, that was lunch, a little on the bland side. Hopefully dinner kicks it into overdrive. We still don't have any seasonings, so that's kind of a bummer. We're going to save everything in the ration for dinner, and I'll see you back here in 3 or 4 hours where we'll get into the rest of this ration and wrap up our Brazilian Navy goodness. Well, hey there. fancy meeting you here. It's kind of like dinner time. Glad you came back for even more Ration Nerd nerdiness. So we've got the rest of everything out here and ready to rock and roll. We've got some hot chocolate. We've got some crusty ass grape drink. We've got some rock hard candy. We've got 2 packs of those torrada, like basically croutons or little toast things. We've got that bitchin' strawberry chocolate cereal bar. We've got some guava jam to go with our toast. We've got the sausage and risotto. We're gonna check out that butt wipe. We've got some borrowed cutlery from Oman and a NATO ration because for some reason I couldn't find the knife that went with this set. I mean, imagine that. It's around here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. And we've also got our ration stove, which I did not demonstrate because I boiled the hell out of these mains.
I got hot water and I cannot lie. You water boys can't deny. When you, I don't know what rhymes with that. Boiling stuff.
Just like that. So what I'm going to do is, just for a little ambiance and just so you can say that I did show you how it works, this alcohol gel that they use to heat the rations, we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of ambiance to the ration table. We're going to pour some of this into the ration stove and have a nice little alcohol flame going. Now this one will not be nearly I'm not even touching that. It's just going to have to dry up and be goopy on the side. This isn't like an Esbit tablet where you're going to get a super pronounced flame, but we're still going to light it up and just have a little bit of, I don't know, burning alcohol gel at the ration table, and poof, just like that, it lit like a boss. That's like the easiest ration heater to get going on the planet, and in case you can't see that on camera, I am pretty damn far above that, and then all of a sudden, poof, there it goes. So there is some nice heat coming off of that. Just a little ambiance. As you know, it's time to get the hot cocoa going. I do have a big ass 10-gram pack of this coffee left over, and I'm going to be 1000% honest with you guys. I'm saving this shit because it's really good instant coffee. This is either going in my get home bag or is going to wind up going on a camping trip with me. This is excellent, freeze-dried, amazing coffee. Let's just say that. I know I sung its praises earlier, but we're doing it again. This coffee rocks out with the cock out. We're going to get some of this hot cocoa going, and that smells amazing inside of the package. It smells like a traditional powdered hot cocoa, but just a little more dark and rich on the smell side of the house. I know maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's the way it makes me feel. And God knows, in 2025, the way that I feel better be the most important thing on the planet to you motherfuckers, because if not, you're not woke. And if you're not woke, you're probably pretty cool and I'd want to hang out with you. And we have our crusty ass grape drink that we're going to attempt to mix up. This stuff is banging. I can't wait to get this, even if it is crusty. This is just a product of heat stress. It gets really hot on one side of the ration or the other, and this sugar just kind of melts inside of the package. It's not bad. It tastes perfectly fine. It's just a bitch to mix up. Huh. If this was a metal spoon, I could just put some of this in here and we could mainline some grape. No, never mind. That's naughty. We're not going to say it. Let's just keep working on this shit. I'm going to try to get like the whole side of this thing torn open because it was a bitch to get the orange out. I'm going to see if we can't do a little better with the grape. As you can see, that's just one big ball of grape sugar goodness in there. Let's get it in the glass. Ah, Mr. Grape Puppy, that's the best shit ever. And we got that nice clean water going in. You know what water means? Water means hydration. You know what hydration is? It's fucking life. If you're not hydrating, you really ought to be. And that naughty ass hot cocoa action. Alright, and as you can see from the Esbit stove over here, my only issue with the alcohol gel, it burns clean. You can use it indoors, no problem. It just doesn't last as long as a traditional Esbit tablet. So you'd have to like pull your main off, keep adding the alcohol. It's great stuff, but you need a metric shit ton of it to actually heat something up that's of a decent size. Maybe you could boil a really, really small cup of water with that, but as far as heating up a whole main goes, not happening unless you're just constantly feeding that thing with a bunch of that alcohol gel. Still really cool stuff though. And let's start getting all this craziness out here. We got our little gobbler guy here with his little candy treats that are like, little candy pebbles. That ought to be awesome. The packaging on these really sucks, and this is obviously just a civilian item. Let's see if any of this toast survived in decent-sized pieces. Not so much on that one. And this one feels even worse than the other one, so I'm not looking for any large and in-charge pieces to come out of here. I've been wrong before, though. Nope, that one definitely took a whole lot more abuse. And that yummy-ass chocolate strawberry granola bar. Oh, shit. You know, that's a motherfucker, because that's a really good bar. I don't want to lose any of that stuff. We're just going to keep as much of it as we possibly can. Oh, this one got the shit kicked out of it. That is no good. We're going to have to find, maybe we'll just dig the spoon down in there and just get it all out. All right, and now it's time to check out this sausage and risotto action. So let's find the tear notch before we blister our fingers for no reason whatsoever. You know, and one of my subscribers said they don't like watching me burn my hands. I'm sorry. I'm like a giant child. When it's like ration review time, I don't think about any of that shit. I just get my stuff together and get to the ration review dungeon and just roll with it. If I burn my hands, shit happens. That was a nice tear on that retort pouch, if nothing else. Hopefully this is a nice creamy risotto. That actually smells like there's some meat in there. Looks like there's some beef in there. Let's get this out so we can all check it out. There is. There's some beef in there, some carrots. Looks pretty decent. Oh, ow. It doesn't look like the risotto I'm accustomed to, but hey, it is all good in the hood. And let's check out these sausages. That's why I got a knife, just simply because seems like there's a couple decent sized sausages in here. Let's check them out. And as much as I was worried about this retort pouch, it smells pretty yummy in there. Let's see what rolls. Oh, look at that guy. Oh, ploop. Bloop, right out onto the tray. Not too shabby. All right, let's check this out. What do we have? We have some really soft sausages. Ugh. They're kind of weird. They look like enormous, like fat hot dogs, but let's just break this rice up a bit and see what's all in there. All right, so there are definitely some pieces of beef floating around in there. Not too bad. That really gave the rice a nice smell. We have some carrots. We also have, that looks like a nice little onion flake floating around in there. I love me some onions. Thank you very much. Did I say carrots? There's carrots in here. And obviously the rice, the beef. And since this sausage was already kind of split open, I guess the knife was a little premature. This stuff is really soft. Let's stab that. That is actually softer than hot dog consistency, at least stabbing it with the fork. So let's bring it up to you so you can see what's going on in the sausage department. So there's that nifty little retort packed sausage for you. So let's start out by getting a bite of the rice and see what that's like all on its own. So there we have a little bit of everybody. We got some carrots, rice. I can see some seasoning bumping around in there. And we got those little beefy pieces. So let's get that in the face and see what's going on with the risotto. Wow, holy shit, Sherlock. That is salty as all get out. That's absolutely insane. Another thing I noticed is there are some really small dices of potatoes in here I didn't see upon the initial inspection. That rice is well seasoned, but a little bit overly salty. That's a stark contrast to the lunch main that was really bland and very plain and really desperately needed some salt. Some of the salt from this really could have went in the lunch main. It's so salty, it's almost difficult to tell you what type of seasoning was used in here. That very likely could just be some parsley. It's not bad. It's just a little bit on the salty side. Let's go after a piece of this really soft hot dog-esque sausage. Get some of that in the face. See if we're loving the sausage or hating it. Wow, and that sausage is absolutely salty as well. This is a very, very salty main. The sausage is not bad. It has a very hot dog-like consistency. As you can see, just by the way I can chop it up with a fork, a regular piece of sausage, you would not be able to do that. It does have a really nice flavor, although it's a bit salty. The outer skin on that sausage is nice. It's the only thing that really gives it any texture. Aside from it being salty, this is relatively yummy. It's like having a decent quality hot dog with your meal, although an extraordinarily salty, decent quality hot dog. If it wasn't for the casing, that hot dog would be absolutely worthless. Let's get a big old scoop of everybody together. I have a feeling we're definitely going to get a temporary spike in our blood pressure from all this salt content, but let's get that choo-choo going right in the tunnel. And those two salty flavors absolutely complement one another. The salty sausage and this really salty risotto. It's a bummer that the beef is, one, there's not a ton of it in here. I imagine it's in here more for flavoring and just a little bit of a protein boost, but they kind of killed the beef flavor with all this salt content. Maybe there's some kind of seasoning in here I'm unaware of that has a really salty undertone to it. I don't know of any seasoning that just simply makes something taste extremely salty, but we definitely have a big old happy family there. Some beef, some pork, some risotto, and we're even going to throw one of these crusty little bread hunks in there just for some texture. And that actually works really well. All these little baby pieces are going in here simply because this toast, croutons, whatever you want to call it, helps to cut the salty flavor of this main and is really necessary. It doesn't help to add much in the way of flavor because this is literally just plain white toast or plain white croutons without any seasoning. I know they say they're lightly salted, but they lied. They're totally not salted. And yes, I still have some of the farina, but quite honestly, that shit is so bland that it would almost kill the flavor of this main. And after a really boring lunch and a very light breakfast, I really feel like having something I can enjoy for dinner. So I'm going to try to make it as enjoyable as possible for this guy, considering I'm the one that's eating it. I definitely tried it the way it was prescribed to me by some Brazilians who left me comments on the channel, who actually live in Brazil and actively, apparently, add farina to their meals. It's just not for me. But let's get back into this main. We got some nice crunchy toast hunks in there, and that toast is really just helping to cut the salt content, and it's working like a champ. Is that actually a potato hunk? Let's check it out. It's kind of hard to tell. It has that same salty flavor. It has the texture of a cooked potato, but it could totally be another starchy tuber for all I know because it just tastes like the rest of this main. Oddly enough, you can barely taste the carrots, which normally, carrots are one of those kind of things you can taste if you kind of isolate them by themselves, or you get a carrot hunk that just has a lot of flavor in it. Let's get a bunch of carrot pieces and see if we can isolate that carrot flavor, or if the salt just pretty much took the flavor out of everything. Come here, Mr. Carrot, get in my face. And that was a whole bunch of carrots, and honestly, it's just like the potatoes. It has that very salty flavor combined with basically a mild beef flavor and almost an aftertaste of dill, which is really odd, but that is definitely the best way to describe this. Extraordinarily salty rice with an aftertaste of beef and then a further later aftertaste of dill, which is really odd. It's not horrible, it's just not what I was really looking to have for dinner, which is kind of a bummer. My stomach gets to travel the world, one ration at a time, right here from the comfort of the ration dungeon. Jesus, this is okay. Give me the spoon. Apparently I need to eat like an animal. This knife was totally not necessary, but we can use it so we don't soil up the hot cocoa as we give that another swizz before we get some in the old face hole. It's time for a palate cleanser, a nice, sweet, creamy chocolate palate cleanser. Let's give that a sniff now that it's hydrated. That smells amazing. It smells like hot milk and cocoa. It's absolutely amazing. It's exactly what it should smell like. That cocoa is so damn good. I could drink that all the time. That has a nice, rich, thick consistency. Very sweet, but in the absolutely most pleasant way. It has a very natural taste of like scalded milk, which is what you would want out of a hot cocoa. It would be kind of hard to tell the difference between a homemade cup of hot cocoa that was actually made with scalded milk and sugar and cocoa and that. And that is really cool, pretty damn amazing. This stuff is absolutely excellent, high quality hot cocoa. It's absolutely fucking yummy. I don't even want to put it down. And I was pretty excited to get back into this ration today, mainly because of the coffee, and I knew what I was in store for, and I was really hoping that I was going to get some bitch and grape drink, which we're going to get a sip of right now because I just happened to mention it. It might have been a little bit hard to mix up, but my face is absolutely looking forward to this grape drink. Fuck me, that is so good. And that grape drink right there is the closest thing you are ever going to get to real grape juice coming out of a bag in a powdered form. It's sweet, it tastes like Concord grapes, it's absolutely banging. Civilian or military, it doesn't matter, that grape drink is absolutely off the hook. That's a great way to keep a soldier hydrated and put some calories into him at the same time in an enjoyable form. So the coffee, the orange, the grape, and the hot cocoa get 2 Ration Nerd thumbs up because those are absolutely amazing. Let's get back to this before it gets cold because, quite frankly, warm it's not all that great, and I can't imagine it's going to be great cold either. Do you think that YouTube would be okay if we did a little bit of like sexual no, they wouldn't. They would hate me for that. Let me put the sausage back on the tray where it belongs. Damn it, they're always fucking up a good time. Nothing like having Brazilian hot dogs for dinner. Look at that big old rice sheet. We're just gonna snatch that right out of there and throw it in the face. This main is so salty. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's not hateful. It's not the worst ration item I've ever had, but damn the salt content. I need more stragglers. I need all these little bitty pieces that aren't going to work with that little packet of jam I have left. Give me all the bread products, please. I can't imagine this sausage would have lasted many years in that retort pouch. That retort pouch felt a little finicky and weird. Maybe it's because they didn't put enough liquid in here with the sausage. I'm not really 100% sure. The retort pouches aren't nearly as thick as US retort pouches, or other countries for that matter, but I was actually just a little apprehensive, so I boiled these son of a bitches for about 20 minutes. Is it okay to really love a ration just because it has great side items and excellent drinks? Kind of sucks in the main department. The mains are kind of iffy, but everything else is pretty awesome. It's never a good sign when you're like, oh, thank goodness I'm getting to the end of this main. And there it is. Finally, the last bite of that sausage and risotto with beef. Let's bring that up so you guys can see the last bite of this messy main I'm about to put in my face. And this is honestly just a spoon drop. And let's clean that palate with some of this absolutely epic hot cocoa. Absolutely fucking amazing. I actually need a 5-gallon bucket of that hot cocoa mix. Anybody that knows where I can get a 5-gallon bucket of that cocoa mix, send me a message in the chat. That shit is off the absolute hook. So let's keep on rolling. Get this guava jam out onto some of these little dry-ass toasty pieces here. And where did that guava jam? Well, it is very hard. It's definitely showing its age. This commercial packaging is not doing it any favors. Tried to get a better piece of toast there. That one had like a spear. My luck, I'd probably poke myself in the fucking eye with it when I'm trying to eat it. And that's not very spreadable at this point. It's kind of just turned into like a gel puck, which is perfectly fine by me. Little guava jam on some dry-ass toasty croutons. That's kind of a pain in the ass to spread around at this point. If this ration was in date, maybe this jam would still be spreadable. It's pretty much just like an enormous guava fruit chew at this point. That's how we're going to treat it. Maybe we'll even just slam this big old pile of guava gel onto some toasty bits. Come on, get off of there. Jesus. Just make a little guava jelly bar sandwich and knock that back in the old face. And guava is one of those fruits I don't think anybody would not like. To me, it's almost like guava, especially when you make it into a jam like this, it's almost like a generic fruit flavor. You could compare it to almost any fruit except for a citrus fruit. It kind of has an apple flavor. It kind of has a pear flavor. It kind of has a peach flavor. It's all those wrapped into one, but none of them at the same time. It's good and it's sweet. It works well with this dry ass toast to help bring some life to it. It's just one of those different animals that if you don't have guava on a regular basis, when you bite into it, you're like, what the hell fruit is this supposed to be? Or is it supposed to be all of them? Not really sure. Still really good stuff though. Let's keep an eyeball on our teeth while we get some of these gumdrops in the face. Let's go with all red. Let's see if 4 of those red ones, see how long it takes me to chew these sumbitches up. And those are actually a lot softer than they feel. As soon as you stick them in the face and you start to chew on them, they're still relatively soft. The exterior is extremely hard though. That red, you know what it tastes like? The flavor is just red. It's like sweet red. Whatever the hell flavor that's supposed to be. Certainly doesn't taste like any kind of fruit. Let's get the purple. Oh shit. Let's get the purple action. Let's throw a bunch of these back in the face and see if purple tastes like purple, or maybe we'll get grape. Well, let me tell you what. Oh, that literally, I have no clue what flavor this is fucking supposed to be, but it tastes like sweet grandma's perfume. It's absolutely hideous. It's so strange. It gives you that weird, like, back of the nostrils hit, flavor-wise. When it gets really far down the back of your throat, it's like a grandma with too much perfume on. That's a horrible fucking flavor. I don't know what that's supposed to be. That's absolutely nasty. I'm not putting any more of those in my face. I'm just not into licking grandmas. Contrary to popular belief, I don't want to lick a grandma, and that's pretty much just like chewing off one of her fingers. Oh, it's absolutely disgusting. I know you guys are going to love this, but I got to get grandma out of my mouth. fuck yes, that grape drink is amazing. We're really digging down into the micro here. We're not just going to talk about the gumdrops, we're going to talk about every flavor, especially after grandma flavor. That was really interesting. Okay, all right, they got lime. Lime at least tastes like lime. That's actually pretty good. Not like a real lime, more like the fake lime that you get in like your standard jelly candy. Lime is actually pretty good though. And let's follow that up with lemon. It's kind of hard to fuck lemon up. I mean, I say that. Oh. It's certainly been done before at this ration table. Let's see what lemon's all about. And oddly enough, they absolutely screwed up lemon. Didn't taste anything like lemon. Just tastes like gel and sugar. It just tasted sweet. It really didn't have a lemon flavor. Last but not least, we're going with the orange. There's another one that is pretty hard to fuck up. Usually you can just put some orange citrus oil in with your mix and these things have a great orange flavor. Let's see what it's all about. And they certainly nailed orange. It was super sweet, but it definitely had a nice orange flavor. So back to this epic grape drink we go. That shit is the bomb. You guys already know about me singing the praises of this strawberry chocolate granola bar. That's why I'm going to dig in here with my face bucket, and I'm just going to get it all right in my mouth. And this damn granola bar is off the hook. I really wish they would have put these in here. Either put like 4 of them in the ration, or just double or triple the size of these things. They're absolutely amazing. And last but not least, let's check out what I think are supposed to be some napkins. What do we have here? And that's kind of like, well, that is definitely a tissue, pretty thin, but you know what? Tissues are always good. Blowing your nose is always nice, especially if you have something decent to blow it in, other than just like your hand or snot rocketing it across the deck of your Brazilian Navy ship. And that's not too bad. So you get 6 medium to low quality tissues. They're pretty thin, but they'll certainly do the job. They'll catch a booger. You know, if you stack all 6 of these up, you might be able to wipe your butt. But quite honestly, even with these 3, I don't know if you can see, with the lighting, you can see the color of my hand right through it. So to be fair, if I tried to use 3 of these, I'm absolutely getting the poke through. Nobody wants to poke through. Nobody wants to poop finger. Do better with the tissues is all I'm saying. Or maybe I guess you could fold it in half, doubling everything up. But still, at that point, you run the risk of just raw dogging your beehole with a finger that's just straying outside the lines. And that shit is really not cool. Well, my friends, that was dinner. It was okay. I had more fun with the cocoa and the grape beverage. Having a little bite of grandma was funny and disturbing all at the same time. I am full, but I'm not necessarily satisfied. That main definitely wasn't all that in a bag of chips, but we'll talk about the rest of that shit when we wrap things up. So thank you guys for joining me here on Ration Nerd, where today we got into this Brazilian Navy ration. That's menu number 5. It was absolutely a ton of fun to get into this. I'm really glad I got to review this ration before it got too old and skanky. And I do understand this is a ration for the Brazilian Navy, but it's certainly missing some things. The tissues or TP were pretty substandard. There were no utensils with this ration. It certainly could have used some extra items added to it. You had a pretty large bag. You certainly could have done that. The standard Brazilian Army ration had a lot more accessories in it, which is also understandable. Ground pounders need more light and easy to use accessories. However, I'm just judging it based on the fact that it is a ration. And there's always the thing when you're getting into food from a foreign country, you don't really know what the food is supposed to taste like and what it would taste like if you got it at a restaurant in Brazil. Obviously, rations aren't always restaurant quality food, and sometimes they're pretty goddamn substandard. This one definitely had some very standard mains and lots of really cool drinks and sides. That's one of the reasons why I was really excited to get into this Brazilian ration. First and foremost, because I knew I was going to have an epic fucking cup of coffee. Because when it comes to coffee, Brazil absolutely does it 100% correctly. Brazil has got coffee on lockdown. Dear Brazil, please send Ration Nerd more coffee and more rations. But anyway, hey, get you some merch if you want some Ration Nerd merch, a hat or a shirt or a bag or all kinds of other goofy shit in there. A coffee cup would be epic. And don't forget, if you join me on Patreon, this Japanese Self-Defense Force emergency ration could be yours. It's the next one I'm giving away. And one last thing, I'm absolutely begging you to support your local, nope, fuck those guys, support Ration Nerd for president. Fuck if I know what I'm talking about. At this point, I'm just babbling. But it's that magic time of the video where you know what's coming, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you, if you can find something cooler than this Brazilian Navy ration for 24 hours, menu number 5, to put in your stanky face hole, you absolutely know what to do, and if you don't, you're about to find out. Eat 'em up.
Man, this shit is crazy. I mean, eating shit from Brazil, which is fine and all that, but why is it all gotta be so goddamn bland? And what's this motherfucker doing be like sprinkling farina? That shit's like cream of wheat, and you don't sprinkle cream of wheat on your dinner. That's just weird. You don't sprinkle it on your lunch anyway, just in case somebody's paying attention and it's gonna bitch and be like, well, he didn't sprinkle it on dinner, he sprinkled it on the lunch. Dad, shut up, bitch. He sprinkled cream of wheat on the food, and that ain't what you do, at least not over here. Maybe some other crazy countries where shit be all like hot and jungly, you be sprinkling farina on your food, but here in the United States of America, we don't be sprinkling no damn cream of wheat on the food. We be eating cream of wheat in the morning for breakfast, and that's only if you need something to put like a rock of food in your stomach, because when you eat a big bowl of cream of wheat, you have the biggest, nastiest, crazy rock hard shit later on, because that stuff go in there and make like glue in your guts, because you know they like used to use vital wheat gluten and stuff like that to make glue and like whole wallpaper up on your walls and shit. Why people be eating farina anyway? I don't even think we should be eating wheat. We should probably just be using it to make glue. Shit be weird, and I might be a little wound up today, and I'm not really sure why. So y'all just gonna have to deal with it, because you're the ones who's waiting around at the end of the video to see the Patreon names and hear me jibber jabbering, saying things, and you know, man, I don't know any, you know, like sometimes I don't always know what to say. So, see y'all.